What is up, everybody? I'm making this video as a part of Symphonic-elk's 200 subscriber contest, so congratulations, Elk. Well deserved if you guys haven't checked out his channel. It's awesome. He's got some great books. He's always got a good positive attitude. He always has some awesome classical music playing over his pickups too, which I always love. So the rules for his contest are as follows. So must make a video and link it, which I will. Must be 18 plus. 34. Sorry, sucks. Wish I was closer at 18, but here I am at 34. I am subbed up. Must be in US. Yep. Tell me about a comic that's culturally significant to you or just culturally significant. Show your favorite comic that is valued under $10 and give a shout out to a YouTuber. So I will go ahead with my culturally significant book, which it's not significant to me because I'm just a white guy from Indiana, so there's not really a lot of books about me out there. But I feel like this book here is very culturally significant to, well, everything that's going on in the world right now. So my pick for this one was Batwoman Elegy. So I actually have the hardcover for it, and actually I think right there on my wall I have Detective 854, which is the first issue of this Greg Rucka run. For those of you not familiar with this, basically it's about Kate Kane, Batwoman. It's like the first major story with her in it besides 52, which Greg Rucka was also a part of that. So basically, Kate Kane, aka Batwoman, I mean, it's all about just overcoming adversity. So she's a lesbian in the army. Her family is part of a terrorist attack when she was a child, so just nothing has ever gone well in her life. But the good thing is about Kate Kane is she stays true to herself, and that's how she becomes Batwoman, basically. So it's a decent story overall. It really picks up toward the end, in my opinion, when they kind of get into her whole origin story. I wasn't too crazy about who the bad guy is in the book. I won't spoil that part about it, but I felt like it was a little bit tacked on, but it still wasn't too bad. But just in terms of, all the gay and lesbian stuff going on in the world right now, I think this book was kind of maybe not ahead of its time, but I think kind of close. Even within the last few years, they were going to marry Kate Kane off in the comic books, I think, to Maggie Sawyer. And DC wouldn't even do it. I don't know if they just backed out at the last second. But I think after that, relations between DC and Greg Rucka... Actually, I don't even think it was Greg Rucka, but I think it was mainly G.H. Williams who does the art in this. And then I'm trying to think of who else was writing on that book at the time. But I mean, after that, we really haven't seen Batwoman like that since. I mean, I think James Tynion and who else is writing that book right now? Marguerite Bennett, I think, is also writing that book. It's not too bad, but it's not the same as this run right here. They're really going after some main issues in this run that I think they tackled pretty well. But the gist of the story is Kate Kane is overcoming adversity by using Batman as an inspiration. And the most heartwarming part about it is her father backing everything she's wanting to do by the end of it. At first, her father is kind of just calling her insane and crazy and critiquing her for stealing all this army stuff to become Batwoman, and by the end of this, he's asking how he can help. So he's almost kind of like her Alfred. So the relationship between the two of them is probably the best part of the entire story. And then to kind of tack on to this, if you guys haven't read Gotham Central, it's also by Greg Rucka with help from Ed Brubaker. Highly recommended. It's got a lot of the same type of themes in it. So in this hardcover too, the art is excellent in it, and this is a little bit bigger than your standard size comic. So if you guys didn't really care about going and collecting the issues one by one, I would probably recommend this hardcover if it's still out there. This might be out of print, but absolutely, if you guys see this for a decent price, go ahead and pick it up if you don't have it already. It's one of my favorite reads. And actually, I did get this signed by Greg Rucka last year at C2E2. He signed it, "Live with pride, serve with honor, love with courage, Greg Rucka." So almost kind of a tear to my eye there. All I had to do was sign it, and he went the extra mile and all that good stuff. So pretty awesome. Well, once again, pick this up if you haven't already. All right, next up. So my book I picked, I guess he wanted me to pick a book that's not valued or I got for under $10. I don't think this book's worth more than cover price. It's an older book. I think it's from 2003. So basically, this book right here is probably one of the main reasons I restarted collecting. Around the time I was in college, I just didn't have the money or the time to dedicate to any type of comic book collecting at all. So luckily, I discovered a comic shop pretty close to campus, and I was just kind of in there seeing what they had. And then there was this anniversary issue out, Fantastic Four 500. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll see what is going on Fantastic Four. I'd really never collected anything Fantastic Four prior to this book right here, and let me tell you, I was just absolutely blown away by this book. It's written by Mark Waid and drawn by the late great Mark Wieringo. And then also I have this book on the other side, so I don't know. I kind of could call it a tie, I guess, between Fantastic Four 500 and Fantastic Four 67 as my pick for this. But I just kind of wanted to talk about Doctor Doom in this whole run. I never really had too much exposure to Doctor Doom, with the exception of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, which he was fun to play as in those. But Doctor Doom gets dirty in this book, let me tell you. I mean, he is just all about just dooming, pun intended, I guess, dooming the Fantastic Four as much as possible. In this issue here, he's pretty much just down in the dumps. Doom usually doesn't accept defeat, but in this, it seems like he's kind of humanized, and he's kind of accepted the defeat that he cannot use science to defeat Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four. So the prologue issue to the Unthinkable storyline is which one it is, I should have said. So the prologue to Unthinkable is Doctor Doom just kind of going around. I think he's still in Latveria. I can't remember 100% sure. And he's looking for his one true love, Valeria, who's the only person he's ever really loved besides himself in the entire world. And he basically finds her toward the end of the issue, and he basically confesses that he's ready to try to start something new with her, and he actually does convince her to think about it, so they can start kind of reignite that spark of love they originally had when they were a lot younger. But it turns out Dr. Doom was just after a sacrifice, basically, so he could become a magician. That way he could use magic and science to fight the Fantastic Four. So he had to find the one thing he basically wouldn't want to sacrifice to the devil, more or less. So he sacrificed Valeria and his actual, his one true love to the devil himself to get magic powers. So by the time issue 500 rolls around, he has condemned Franklin Richards to hell, basically, along with Doctor Strange. Because, obviously magic involved, you gotta have Doctor Strange involved to make it a really good story. And then he has basically kidnapped Val, the daughter of Reed and Sue Richards. So that's where this issue picks up, and it's just a roller coaster ride from there. I mean, the Fantastic Four has their power switched. Like I said, the kids are all over the place in a bad way, and it's basically just, for a lot of the part, Reed versus Doom at a battle of wits. So I can't recommend this book either enough. If you guys haven't checked out Fantastic Four, this Mark Waid run, it's still, I mean, I know everyone loves the older stuff and all that, but for me, this was like my definitive Fantastic Four. If they're ever to make a movie, which they will, don't get me wrong, but if they were to make a new movie, I think I would love to see something similar to this, where Doom is a little bit more human instead of the ones we see in the movie that haven't been too great. So absolutely, if you haven't picked up the storyline, go out and find it. It should be, I've seen these in dollar bins within this year, so I think this was $1. This book was definitely $1. So, but I think the story's worth a lot more than that. So, once again, Fantastic Four 500 dollar bins. See it, pick it up. Actually, give it a read. It's really good. There's also a director's cut to this. I think it's got like a nice chromium cover. It's a little bit different. It's just got Doctor Doom on it. I think this cover's slightly better, but like I said, the art's by, once again, the late great Mike Wieringo. So he was an excellent artist. I wish I got a chance to meet him. I love his work. So check these out. The last part of the contest, shout out 2 YouTubers. I guess they're kind of in the same boat as me, under 100 subscribers. So my first one is Sam I Am Comics. He's mainly, from what I could tell, a Snups user. That's actually how I found his account. He's been dabbling and putting up videos lately, it looks like. So if you're watching, I highly encourage you, Sam, to keep going. I've enjoyed your videos so far. I actually didn't even realize I wasn't subscribed to you until before I started recording this video, because I actually been finding all of your stuff directly from Snups and watching it from there. So for those Snups users, I'm sure you're familiar with them. But that's my first shout out. And then my second one has to go to Jennifer Courtney. She actually beat me to a shout out today. I was thinking about, who am I going to shout out at work today? I'm like, well, I knew those two. And then I come home and watch her video, and she already beat me to it. So here is Golden Age Jennifer shout out right here. For those of you who aren't familiar with her channel, she is the one who shocked the world at the, I think it was not the last, but the Legends auction before that, the Great Legends auction. I think it was the first weekend of February. Aim High Comics put up a Golden Age Shazam comic, or Captain Marvel, I should say. Sorry. It was like, was it 1944? I think it had that. It was awesome. That's all you need to know. And I was super jealous. Unfortunately, I had already bought a few lots during that auction, so I was just like, nope, I don't have any more money to blow. But then I saw that book come up, like, oh man, what? If I could have saved my bids for that, I probably would have. But then Golden Age Jennifer swept in and picked up that book, and that was an awesome book. And she started making videos recently, so I think she made her second video this afternoon. So I highly recommend checking her videos out. Other than that, once again, Symphonic-elk, congratulations on 200 subscribers. Very well deserved. And if you guys haven't seen his stuff, at least check out his contest video for starters. He has a lot of generous books that he's giving away as a part of this contest. Probably would have put in a video regardless, because I've been enjoying his content. But wow, you got some good books as a part of this contest, man. So, thanks for everything you've been putting up, and thanks for offering up the books as a contest, and just thank you so much. Other than that, I'll have to have a shout-out video here in a second, so once again, sorry to spam up people's feeds, but I wanted to make sure I dedicated the time to the books and the people who wanted the shout-outs and the contests and all that stuff, so I figured I'd just break it into two. So if this is the only video you watch mine today, thank you for watching. If you somehow decide to watch two of my videos today, thank you even more. Other than that, see you guys later.